On this episode, I will be recapping WWE Monday Night RAW and discussing a little bit of pro wrestling news. Right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. And welcome, wrestling fans, to a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I am your host, Lance Brock, thanking you, everyone who is listening right now on Spreaker or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Thank you very much for listening. And before I get to Monday Night Raw and a little bit of news, I just want to discuss the new 360 Wrestling podcast, which debuted this morning. And that was 360 Good Morning Wrestling Fans. I hope everyone enjoyed the first episode discussing my pick for 2002 Wrestler of the Year. In case you missed it, I'm not going to spoil it. You can go right here on Spreaker or whichever podcatcher you listen to. It's on the same feed as all the other 360 Wrestling podcasts. In tomorrow's episode, tomorrow morning, I'll be discussing my pick for Tag Team of the Year for 2022. So make sure you check it out tomorrow morning. You can listen to it while you're eating breakfast or having your morning coffee, reading the newspaper, if you still get a newspaper, one of the few people that do, or reading your news online, I should say, these days. Or listen to it on your way to work, listen to it at work, listen to it whatever you're doing in the morning. Or, like I also said, you can listen to it anytime you want, on demand. So, now it is time to move on to WWE Monday Night RAW, January 2nd, 2022. Live from Nashville, Tennessee, our commentators for the evening, Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves. And we start things off on Monday Night Raw. And I don't want to go out and say this is the first time this has ever happened, but this is something that definitely doesn't happen very often. The opening intro of Raw gets cut off early because Raw is being invaded by the Bloodline. The Usos, Solo Sikoa, and the honorary Uso, Sami Zayn. They beat up a security guard, tip over the announce desk, and before they can cause any more trouble, Adam Pearce comes out with some of the baby faces from the Raw locker room, and Adam Pearce tells them since they want to work, he's going to put each member of the Bloodline in a match tonight. and those matches will happen later tonight. But our opening match of the evening, right here on Monday Night Raw, is for the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair defending against Alexa Bliss. Starts off a pretty good match, and then Alexa Bliss gets distracted by someone in the front row wearing the Uncle Howdy, or maybe not the Uncle Howdy mask, but wearing a mask of some kind. And then on the Titantron, Bray Wyatt's logo flashes a few times. She gets distracted. Then she snaps, attacks the referee, causing the disqualification. And then she goes to Bianca Belair, attacks her. Looks like Bianca's mouth gets busted, a little bit of blood coming from her mouth, and then an attack on the steel steps to the Raw Women's Champion. So it's just explained by the commentators, this bizarre behavior from Alexa Bliss costing her the Raw Women's Championship. And next up on Monday Night Raw, we have our first match from a member of the Bloodline that's made backstage by Adam Pearce, and it is a Music City street fight. Elias taking on Solo Sikoa, and in the front row is a Stinger, Hardy, not Matt or Jeff, but just Hardy. And he gets involved in this one, but is Solo throwing Elias out of the ring onto a piano, getting the win in this Music City street fight. Not bad, but typical, like when WWE has one of these like gimmick street fights where they have the certain kinds of weapons out. And just like for Christmas, the SmackDown before Christmas Eve, we had the Miracle on 34th Street fight, and for the Halloween episodes, we always had the Trick or Treat street fights. It was just like those matches, and Solo picks up the win. And the other Bloodline members, the Usos and Sami Zayn, in a 6-man tag team match, taking on Kevin Owens and the Street Profits. The Bloodline picks up the win in the 6-man tag. Not bad, pretty good match. Dexter Lumis defeats Chad Gable. Becky Lynch interrupts a promo from Damage Control. She calls out Bayley, wants to have a match with her tonight, but Bayley does not want that, and instead she offers a match against the other members of Damage Control, Dakota Kai and Io Sky, and she tells Becky that she can find a partner. But Becky says that she does not have her phone on her, so she cannot call anybody. And we have a handicap match. This goes on for a little bit, but then we see Michin, the former Mia Yim. Unfortunately, it looks like they're back to calling her Michin only and got rid of the Mia Yim name now. And Damage Control gets the win here. Io Sky pinning Michin with a little assist from Bayley at ringside. In the main event of the evening for the United States Championship, it is the champion Austin Theory taking on Seth freaking Rollins. Good main event here. I'm going to say it was that great or anything, but it was good though for a TV main event. And first referee gets knocked down, then the second referee makes his way to the ring. Theory hits a low blow on Rollins to get the win and retain the United States Championship. So still WWE United States Champion Austin Theory. And I am a fan of the way Raw or WWE has been making the United States title more important on Raw since Roman Reigns, the Undisputed Universal Champion, is more on SmackDown. So right now the US Championship is the main title on Monday Night Raw as of right now. And even though Roman's on SmackDown more, sometimes he's not always on there all the time either. And they've kind of done the same thing with the Intercontinental title with Gunther holding it now. They kind of made it more important and actually mean something to the show. So that is something they have been doing good with Raw and SmackDown, where they made the secondary titles mean more. And then, of course, though, the most important championship is still the Undisputed Universal Championship, which it should be. And also, I didn't mention this in my notes, but we did have an update on AJ Styles after his broken ankle, which took place last weekend at the house show on the holiday tour. And it was pretty much just what AJ Styles tweeted, that luckily he will not need surgery, but so far what I have seen, there's no real timetable or how long he's going to be out for, I should say. So obviously it looks like he's going to miss the Royal Rumble. Hopefully, I'm not sure just yet, but maybe he could get lucky and be able to come back for WrestleMania. I'm guessing depending on how serious of a break it was. But like I said, he does not need surgery, so that is at least a little bit of good news, I would think. And now, fans, at this time, let's get on to a little bit of news. And that news is Sasha Banks, Mercedes Renato. It's already been talked about appearing at Wrestle Kingdom this Wednesday at the Tokyo Dome. And now apparently it's being reported that Naomi is in Japan with her. I don't know if she's going to also appear at Wrestle Kingdom or not. That it remains to be seen. And in other news, like it was talked about on the new Ric Flair documentary on Peacock, he found out that he had a long-lost brother, but he doesn't want to meet him or anything because he thinks that his brother only wants to meet him because he's famous. So I'm guessing that he thinks his brother just wants to get some of his money or something like that. And the wife of Jeff Jarrett, former wife of Kurt Angle, Karen Jarrett, has came out and said some things now after the rap video from the Acclaimed last Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, where the line about Jeff Jarrett stealing Kurt Angle's wife, and now she's threatening to expose things about Kurt Angle and affairs, things like that. That kind of sounds like a pretty big mess, to be honest. But who knows what's going to happen there. And one last piece of quick news about Sasha Banks. Once again, she was on USA Tonight. No, not Monday Night Raw. What I've read is that she is going to appear on the USA show Barmageddon, is it called? The one that Nikki Bella is on. And I've never watched it, so I don't know quite for sure what this show is about. But apparently Mercedes, I should say, was on the episode that is still on now, I believe, for another 6 minutes. I guess it's an hour, I'm not sure, and that is all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and just a reminder, tomorrow morning, the second episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans, where I'll be discussing my pick for Tag Team of the Year for 2022. And that's what's going to be all week on the new podcast. I'll be discussing my picks for the best of 2022. And don't have the full schedule of the week figured out just yet. So far, got tomorrow, it's going to be Tag Team of the Year, I do know that, and Monday, Match of the Year, Woman Wrestler of the Year, and who knows what else, whatever I think of. And if you've been listening to 360 Wrestling Podcasts for a while now, you know I am definitely not the most organized, most professional podcaster in the world. I don't even have a set time for my podcasts. I just do them whenever I feel like it, and except for the new one, Good Morning Wrestling Fans, which will be around the same time just about every day. Like I said, on Sundays, I do go into work later, so I haven't figured that out quite just yet. And every other Thursday I have off, so I'm still going to do it. I'm just not sure. Could be at a little bit of a different time then. But tomorrow will be the same time as today. Tag Team of the Year. Once again, make sure you listen to that when it drops tomorrow morning. And the email, 360wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions, suggestions, or just want to say anything, you can leave your feedback on Good Morning Wrestling Fans if you listen to the first episode. And also on the YouTube channel, leave comments or like, share, all that good stuff. Also on the whichever podcast website you listen to, leave a comment if they have a comment section. The main website, though, you should be listening to, Spreaker, or at least I hope so anyway. Leave a comment on there, and let me know what you think of 360 Wrestling Fanatic and the other ones, and the new one. Hopefully it sounded okay. Like I said, those episodes are going to be while I'm walking to work. So that's it for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thank you for tuning in, and remember, keep watching pro wrestling. Until the next episode, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.